Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to put operator precedence into practice. The theory lesson was quite short, so there wasn't much new material. However, I managed to find 5 exercises for you that use operator precedence in one way or another. Let's get started. Exercise 1. You are ordering several identical burgers and drinks. The user enters the price of one burger, the number of burgers, the price of one drink, and the number of drinks. Calculate the total cost of the order using a single expression. For example, this is the output. We need to enter the 4 values specified in the task. As you already know from the previous practical lessons, I write the code so that the input for each value is placed in its own separate block. Each block consists of a message to the user, creating a variable and an input statement that stores the entered value in that variable. So there is nothing new to explain here. By now, you should already understand perfectly well how this works. However, the calculation of total does use operator precedence. We need to multiply the price of one burger by the number of burgers. This gives us the total price of all the burgers. Then we add the price of one drink multiplied by the number of drinks. This gives us the total price of all the drinks, which we then add to the total price of the burgers. We store the final value in a variable and print it to the screen. Let's run the program and take a look at the output. Exercise 2. An athlete makes 3 jump attempts. The user enters the result of each attempt. Calculate the average result of all 3 attempts. For example, like this. Here I create 3 variables called attempt 1, attempt 2, and attempt 3. I could have named them first attempt, second attempt, and third attempt, but those names are longer and don't really provide any additional information. After entering the 3 values, I create a constant for the number of attempts. From the task, we know that there are 3 of them. Next, we need to calculate the average value. What is the formula for that? It is the sum of all the values divided by the number of values. So first we add all 3 attempts together and then divide the result by the number of values. Here, operator precedence matters again. If we remove the parentheses, only the 3rd attempt will be divided by 3, and then that result will be added to the first 2 values because the division operator has higher precedence than the addition operator. So by using parentheses, I increase the priority of the addition operations. Finally, I print the result to the screen. Let's run the program and take a look. Exercise 3. A store is selling an item at a discount. The user enters the original price of the item and the discount percentage. Calculate the final price after applying the discount. For example, this. Here we enter 2 values. First, I can calculate the amount of the discount based on the percentage. The user enters the number from 0 to 100. But how do we convert that percentage into an actual amount of money? First, we can convert the percentage into a floating point value from 0.0 to 1.0. For example, if the user enters 20%, the value becomes 0.2. If they enter 94%, the value becomes 0.94. Then we multiply the original price by this value. For example, if the product costs $100 and the discount is 50%, its decimal value is 0.5. So the discount amount will be $50. We store this value in a variable. After that, we simply subtract the discount amount from the original price to find out how much the product costs with the discount applied. Let's run the program and take a look. Exercise 4. You want to cover a rectangular floor with square tiles. The user enters the length of the room, the width of the room, and the side length of one square tile. First, calculate the area of the room and the area of one tile. Then determine how many tiles are needed to cover the entire floor. Okay, we need to enter 3 values, so let's do that. Next, we need to calculate the area of the room by multiplying its length by its width. Then we calculate the area of one tile in the same way. After that, we divide the room area by the tile area. By the way, the result may not be a whole number, but this program does not take that into account. We simply discard the fractional part and count only the number of whole tiles. Finally, we print all the information to the screen. Let's run the program and take a look. Exercise 5. The user enters a total number of seconds. The program should determine the number of full hours, the number of minutes remaining after removing the full hours, and the number of remaining seconds. Okay, we enter the total number of seconds. Next, I create several constants that I'll need for the calculations. Then we can start calculating. Let's imagine that we entered 10,000 seconds. First, we need to convert them into hours. So we take the total number of seconds and divide it by 3,600. That gives us 2 hours. But we still have 2,800 seconds left, and now we need to extract the minutes from them. How do we get those 2,800 seconds? We can use the modulo operator. It gives us the remainder left after regular division. Then we divide those 2,800 seconds by 60, which gives us 46 minutes. But we still have 40 seconds left, and we need to get those as well. For that, we can simply take the total number of seconds, 10,000, and use the modulo operator with the number of seconds in 1 minute. There are actually several different ways to perform these calculations. The important thing is that the final result is correct. Let's run the program and take a look. And that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye everyone.